Hello, it's Sharon here, and today I wanted to share with you something which is relevant if you're in search of life purpose and you're interested in finding your life purpose, but it's really bigger than that. It's more of a lens in which to view yourself in the world. And I have just recently sort of had this insight, and this metaphor has really come into its own. And I'm really kind of looking at the world through this lens at the moment, and it's just really transforming a lot of how I see the world. So I wanted to share this with you, and it really kind of starts with the idea of acceptance, non judgment, and non relativity. So, if you know anything about me, you will already know that one of the things I talk about a lot is how acceptance is the doorway from which all good stuff happens, right? So, I'm a big believer in working to remove as much judgment as you can out of life. So, I do a lot of work with self-worth, so removing judgment of self, judgment of other people. You understand that people are just projectors of their own unhealed hurt. And, it's really about removing as much judgment out of life, for your own happiness, if nothing else, but also to heal trauma and heal pain and to heal misunderstandings and to create more harmony and peace and joy in your life. So, I'm already a big believer in removing judgment. But it's kind of reached a deeper level recently where I've actually started to notice the complete and utter pointlessness of judgment. It seems so pointless. And it's the reason why I started to see more pointless is because of relativity. And we have a tendency as humans, because we're quite dualistic in our mindset, is to kind of see everything in relation to each other, which is ironic because although we can see everything in relation to each other, what we love to do is judge everything in relation to each other, which causes a great deal of unhappiness because judgment is based on a great untruth that there is inequality and superiority and hierarchy and lots of other things. So I already had a basis for understanding this, but this metaphor has appeared. And this metaphor has really changed how I feel about everything, really, on a really deep level. And the metaphor is simply this: we are all just either cleaning the window or we are dirtying the window. And that includes what we are doing in life purpose. So I'll talk about life purpose sort of towards the end of this as well in a bit more detail. But if we're just looking at the concept of we're all just cleaning a window and we're all either just dirtying a window. Now, there's no judgment in that, just for the record. It sounds, so the human mind wants to go and say, oh, well, one's dirty and one's clean, so clean is better and one is dirtier. And there is a benefit to a clean window, and there's a disadvantage to a dirty window, but there's no judgment in that. And again, this might be quite hard to understand because we're so used to judging something as clean and dirty. Oh, well, it's polar opposites, and it's not really, but it's more the action of cleaning a window or dirtying a window. And it's a metaphor, but another way of describing that would be we're either cleaning the window to the divine or we're dirtying the window. We are either seeing or we are distracting or obstructing the view. Okay, so the first thing to say is that some people don't know there's a window to the divine. They don't know there's even a window. And so they do nothing about this. There's no cleaning and there's no dirtying as far as they're concerned. They're just going about their business without realising there's even a window, which is fine. That's what's happening. And then if you take the metaphor, so we're going to take this metaphor into different places, okay? So those who don't even know there's a window. And then we have those who think, well, maybe there is a window. Maybe I should do something about it. Well, maybe not. Is there a window? Is there not a window? And is there anything to be done? Even if there is a window, should I be doing anything about that? So they don't even know if there should be anything to be, should do anything, could do anything, want to do anything. But they're at least aware that there might be a window. And then we have some people know that there is a window and they think they want to clean it, but they don't know how to clean it. So there's awareness that there's a window and that actually maybe cleaning the window would be advantageous to them, but they don't know how. And then we move on, that people know that there is a window. They've started to clean the window. Maybe they figured out some ways on how to clean the window, and sometimes they clean the window and sometimes they dirty the window. Sometimes, and distraction is one of the easiest ways to dirty the window. So you know how to clean a window. For example, you might know that meditation is a way to clean the window, but you might be distracted a lot, so you're dirtying the window more than you are cleaning. You might think you have some ideas as to how to clean the window, but you may not be sure if to share. You feel confident enough to share how to clean the window. So you might have some ideas of your own. You might have cleaned a bit of your window and sort of had some insight, but you're not really sharing that, and you're not really doing it sort of consistently. And I think a lot of people recognise that stage as well, where we kind of know a bit, but we don't know too much about the window. And then we have those who know there's a window, they know how to clean it, and they help others who also know there's a window but don't know how to clean it. So they're helping others and teaching others on how to help clean windows. And then we have those who just clean windows. Plain and simply, they are window cleaners and they clean windows. That's what they do. And then finally, in the metaphor, we have those who realise there is no window. The window is an illusion, and there's nothing to be cleaned. So that's kind of the end of the metaphor. And this has been a really, really important insight for me personally. And I've come to recognise that, being a humble window cleaner is actually one of the best professions in the world. And it doesn't have to be a profession. It's just a full-time job if you choose it to be. And you can see it in relation to life purpose. So for example, if you're searching for life purpose, if you believe in something that is greater than yourself, that wants to be expressed through you, there's a window, right? You know that there is something that wants to express itself through you, and that through you, that's the window. And so what are we wanting to do with our lives? What do we believe is more important than just accumulation of things? We want to contribute something, right? So where does that contribution come from? It comes from beyond the window, right? So we know there's a window, we want to contribute, we feel like there's something more. So this metaphor really for me is about the window is really the window to the divine, and we are cleaning the window so more of the light of the divine can come through us. And when we talk about people who are really living their life purpose, we kind of see that, how they have that special glow, that presence, that light, something that draws us closer to them. And that's because they've cleaned their window and we can see the light coming through them. That's how I look at it. And they are in service of the light. So, it's a really beautiful thing when we often talk in life purpose terms of coming into alignment with our authentic self. Well, that authentic self is of the divine. That is of a bigger picture than the little I that is us, right? There's something greater that wants to express itself through us. So, you know, when we're talking about cleaning the window, we can talk about it in relation to life purpose, but we can sort of see it as a lens that we can look through life at. And, you know, this has got really nothing to do with success or status or money, as you can imagine. Why? Because success, status, money is relative. And if there's one thing that I've really started to acknowledge, is that anything that is relative is an illusion, it's a falsehood. It's two objects that we are comparing against one another. So, for example, in order for there to be status, I have to judge myself against something else. So these are two objects of comparison. And from that comparison, we create a judgment, and that judgment creates a separation and says, I'm better than you, you're better than me. Oh no, is there enough room for us in the world? And these objects of relativity create a great deal of disharmony and unhappiness in the world. And it's unnecessary. It's the judgment that we created through the relativity that we have in our minds attached with the judgment. And you could say that we are all human beings, and we are all of life, and we are all within the greater scheme of life or the divine. And everything is made out of divine energy, and it's beautiful in its variety. It was created for variety. It was not created for hierarchy and judgment and relativity. Everything in the creation of life is beautiful in its variety and in its own way. It's all contributing in a different way. So we as humans are the only ones who love judgment. Love it. It's like we thrive on it, and it's so unnecessary, and it creates so much unhappiness. And when you start to recognize these relativity points that are untrue, because it's one thing in relation to another, and you start to see the pointlessness of the judgment, and you start to recognize that if we're just cleaning, or anything we're doing is either cleaning the window to the truth of that, or we're dirtying the window through our thoughts, our actions, our behaviours. So, you know, this idea that we have all of this relativity, and we need to do something about it, right? I need to get more status, I need to get more money, I need to get these things. These things are all fabrications. And, you know, we kind of feel, especially if you're in the spiritual realm, you kind of feel like, you know, there's so much wrong in the world, and we've created a judgment of something being wrong. But again, this is a human judgment. So if we start to acknowledge that everything is perfectly imperfect, and this is a concept, if you have sessions with me, you'll recognize this concept, because I use it a lot in healing, is that the world is perfect in its imperfection. It is only us humans who, because of our sense of relativity, have this thing of judgment. But everything is beautiful in the illusion that has been created for us to experience life. And so we have all this judgment, and we think that judgment is cleaning the window. And it's not cleaning the window, it's dirtying the window. And this has become really, really clear to me, how judgment dirties the window, not cleans the window. And, you know, at the moment, there is a lot of things that creates judgment, you know. So we've had Me Too movement, we've had, you know, Black Lives Matter, we've had coronavirus. You know, there's a lot of righteous pointing. And I'm just going to say, for the record, before anyone starts to get upset with me, I'm not saying that about Black Lives Matter or the Me Too movement. I'm just saying there's a lot of pointing going on at the moment. Because when people feel threatened, there's a lot of pointing. And pointing is judgment, right? Now, if you're cleaning a window, and we should be cleaning windows when it comes to things like Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter, we are meant to be cleaning windows. And the reason we're cleaning windows is we are called in service by life for the betterment of life, to clean that window. So we can take conscious, righteous anger and take that energy and clean the window by showing each other that we are all the same, right? But you just pointing and judging is not is not cleaning any window, just for the record. And social media, we live in the world of social media where, angry face on Facebook or pointy or like, we think that our righteous judgment, and I don't even know if you could put those two together, but our judgment cleans the window. Judgment doesn't clean any window ever. What does clean the window is righteous, conscious harmony and love. And love cleans the window quicker than anything else, actually. So what you're seeing in things like Black Lives Matter is, if you're just angry and unconsciously angry, you're not really doing anything of any value. You're not cleaning any window. You're not cleaning your own window because you believe the untruth about yourself, and that's making you angry. And there's a lot of anger in there because of the buy-in of the untruths by other people and by you. But to clean the window, we open the window and we clean the window by actually showing people we are all the same. We matter. Everyone matters, but we matter too. You have not allowed us to matter, and we matter. So you can clean the window in many, many ways, but you don't clean the window through judgment. So just to be clear on that, especially, and I hold my hand up as well in all of this. It's like, I've written posts where I'm like, come on, humanity, let's pick up the standards of humanity. Come on, everybody. I do it too. I fall for it too. And we're so used to judging others for not, and I do it not for not having an elevated standard. And I've had to learn through this idea of cleaning the window and not cleaning the window is actually I'm not helping. I thought I was helping. I'm not helping. I'm not helping anyone by doing that. So this is it's a really tough line sometimes to walk. So I'm not going to say it's easy, because I don't think it is easy, and I think we're going to fail a lot of the time. To clean, when we think we're cleaning the window, we're not cleaning the window, but we have to keep trying. And that's how I feel, is that, I'm checking everything I say. I'm checking the tone in which I'm saying it. I'm having to check, what actions do I actually want to take? Is this action that I'm doing now cleaning the window, or is it dirtying the window? And that has really come up for me recently about how I spend my time. What do I want to invest my time in? And that includes leisure time. Do I want to watch crappy TV? Is that cleaning the window, or is it dirtying the window? Do I want to meditate, or do I not want to meditate? Is it cleaning the window or not cleaning the window? And so I'm really using this lens to reevaluate my choices. And again, this is something, if you work with me, I'm a real big believer in making conscious choices. And so, for me, it feels like we have this real opportunity whenever there is something really big going on in the world, to really consciously ask ourselves, what do I want to contribute here? Am I being actually called to contribute to clean the window? And if I'm here to clean a window, the first thing you must check is that there's no judgment in there. There must be acceptance and there must be non-judgment. Two sides of the same coin, right? Because judgment doesn't have any space in love, and love is what heals. Love, peace and joy is what heals. So, we've seen it recently in Black Lives Matter, how love heals and how non-judgment heals. People who are taking a knee with the protesters and things like that, that's showing, that's cleaning of window. Taking a knee and showing solidarity is a cleaning of window. So, you can only judge for yourself what's cleaning a window and what's not cleaning the window. You know, I'm not going to tell you. You have to make your own conscious choices on that. The only guidance I would say is that judgment is the sign that there's a relativity in there. And if you remove the relativity out of anything and you remove the judgment out of anything, what's left is just isness. Something just is. And if we can all live in a place of isness, things just are, without the judgment, without the relativity, and we would really realise that there's a lot of harmony underneath all of that. There's a lot of joy, there's a lot of peace underneath all of that. So this is something that has come to me recently in a really deep way. I hope I have explained it in a clear way, because it's something I feel is really helping me, and I hope it helps you too. If you think so, if you've got comments on this, please, feel free to get in touch. And this is probably going to be the first in a series of videos or live events that I do. There's a lot more that's come through in my meditations. And I want to share that, and I want to sort of have conversations about what I've discovered and what I feel is new for me in my understanding, and if that's of service. I'm obviously only going to be offering what I believe is cleaning a window, not dirtying it. And so I need to check it before I start actually putting it out into the world. But this is the first piece, effectively. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you benefit from this metaphor. And keep cleaning windows. We are but humble window cleaners.